Hello. A few days ago, I made a video about the British economy. Now, this wasn't just what I was thinking myself. I got this not from a Daily Telegraph, puff piece, but from various economic publications. And I am sort of surprised at one of the comments anyway. One of the comments underneath the video was, well, I'd like to believe that, but I can't. Well, look, you better believe it, because it's not just me and it's not just like the Daily Telegraph. It's a few people. All right, that's the first. And the other comment was really strange. It was a rant about me swallowing the blue pill or something. I couldn't really understand it that clearly, but I got the blue pill reference. One of the big problems now is not the economy, it's pessimism. One of the most popular bits of output on YouTube that I've seen is a commentator on GB News called Neil Oliver, the Eeyore of the internet. Every time he comes on, we're all going to hell. Well, Eeyore, the corporal, or is it Corporal Private Fraser from Dad's Army, we're all doomed. Now, tell me, what is Greta Thunberg if not a colossal pessimist? Now, you might say we're just disillusioned with our governments and with our social systems, but let's just hypothesize for a couple of minutes. What if those despised governments are actually pushing this? I'm not saying they are, but what if somebody is? Look at it this way: the more pessimistic we are, the less we expect. The more beaten down we feel, the more resigned we are to misery. Obviously, euphoria is silly as well. And we do have a tendency culturally, almost every culture I can think of, thinks that tragedy is more important than comedy. The most respected Shakespeare plays, after all, are the tragedies. Is that because the language is better? Well, it's the same man writing it. Or is it because there's something within us that thinks tragedy deserves more attention? On the other hand, some of the most respected performers in our society are the comedians. That's because we know deep down that you have to be quite bright to be a comedian, and that making people laugh is very difficult. Also, making people laugh is a way of knocking down tin gods, isn't it? But when we're miserable all the time, the tin gods stay exactly where they are. What can we do about it, if we're just stuck in nihilism? Do we just resign ourselves to our misery? Just remember this: although there isn't really much to laugh about how beastly people can be to each other, there are also so many instances of people being good and kind to each other. But when you mention this, you're seen as being trivial or swallowing blue pills or something. But, it's optimism that drives you to strive for something better, isn't it? And if you can see what you think is the light at the end of the tunnel, then you will head for the end of the tunnel. If you think there's just a wall there, you'll just sit down and stay where you are. I keep on seeing on the internet, somebody thinks they're being profound or something by pronouncing, you know who rules you, when you're not allowed to criticize them. It's not who you're not allowed to criticize. You get people criticizing, let's say, Muhammad, and they get away with it most of the time. What we're not allowed to do is to laugh at him. That's where all the fuss about the cartoons comes from. Laughter is more powerful. Optimism is a driver for progress, but it's easier for most people to insist that both of those are blue pills. Well, they're not. And I want to remind you of that. And if an economic report shows figures that the British economic situation isn't as bad as like the BBC are pushing it for their own advantage because they want us back in the EU. Or if you have like a political party telling us we're all in the mud, but they can get us out of the mud. They have a purpose in keeping us pessimistic. They have a reason for doing that. Just remember that. And when we get some good news, remember it is good news. The red pill does not have to be all tragedy. All right, well, I'm Grannyopteryx. I'm on YouTube, Rumble, BitChute and Minds. I'm also on Twitter and Gab. And that's where I'll let you know when I've uploaded a new video. All the links are in the description, including links to donation sites if you want to use them. But really, the best thing you can do for this channel, and it doesn't cost you anything, is to click the like button, to subscribe. And if you're on YouTube, click that bell button as well for notifications. Okay, till next time. Why not treat yourself or a favoured relative or friend to these magnificent examples of merch? The mugs and t-shirts come in the Grannyopteryx design or Granbo with a firearm or the more deadly knitting needles. Go to www.grannyopteryx.com and whatever platform you're watching this on, please click like, subscribe and share.